Alright, so apparently the Elemental Dragons are being renamed to Dragon Rulers. I like them better as Elemental Dragons because they're based off of the Elemental Dragons lore, but oh well. Anyway, this is the first episode, it's the first video of a new segment called How It Should Have Been. Me and a couple of my friends were always talking about like how cars should have been. Like it would have made sense if they made it a different way than the way they actually did make it. Especially cars that would have been nice to play, but they kind of messed up the effect, so it really couldn't be played. Like some effects would have been nice if you could play it before you declare an attack as opposed to after your attack or something, dumb stuff like that. Or some effects only apply while you have another monster on the field, while you have this monster in the field, and this monster gets this effect because the other monster died, even though it would be hard to get that scenario to pop up like that. Not saying it's impossible, because you could always like Cyber Dragon, then summon the monster, then Cyber Dragon dies, then you get the effect, but then it wasn't really worth it, as opposed to if the monster itself would do its effect when it died, then it would have been better. Anyway, let's talk about, this is about the Elemental Dragons, how they should have been done. Now I personally have no problem with the way they are right now. That's just me. A lot of other people have a problem with it, so that's just on them, but I personally like them. I like the idea, the concept behind them. They would be less problematic if they weren't 7s, because then they make rank 7s. The Elemental archetype, there's nothing really wrong with it. The way they're designed is actually really good. It's fine. It's the Dragosec, Big Eye, the rank 7 stuff. That's the problem a lot of people have with it's them. And the fact that you could drop like Light and Darkness and stuff, but you could always drop Light and Darkness in any other type of build if the whole goal is to bring out Light and Darkness. So it's not a major it's not a major problem, per se, because it's like, why complain anyway? It's a learning experience. Learn to beat them. It's that simple. The way you learn to beat them is you learn how they play. So play them yourself, get the experience of how the archetype itself runs. Not necessarily a deck, because one thing about the Elemental Dragons, the way they're designed, they're so designed to be generic that you can splash them into any other deck, or the fact that you can just make different variants. You can run monsters in the deck that aren't, of the attributes, aren't fire, wind, water. You can even run monsters that aren't even dragons in the Elemental Dragons. So this is a very open archetype, so you can mix and match and create something. But typically, a lot of net deckers and tourneys and whatnot won't be that creative. What they'll do is they'll just go off of whatever's popular. Whatever's popular is whatever the OCG does, for example. So if they're running the rank 7 Exceed, Dragosec, Big Eye, even Light and Darkness build, then everybody who wants to just copy the deck and play the deck because it does pretty well in that build, they'll just do that. Instead of coming up with a better build and do different tricks with it, use one or two of the Elemental Dragons as opposed to all of them, so forth and so forth. So anyway, point of this video is if the Elemental Dragons were made differently. So what I did was I made them all level 8 as opposed to 7, so that way you can't make Big Eye or Dragosec. So then less of a problem. No one can complain about they make Big Eye and Dragosec all day every day type of deal. So you can only make a couple rank 8s if you're doing if you're using this. Granted, of course, because they're 8 now in this idea, you could trade them in. You can even advance draw, so you get a lot of draw power out of them, but not necessarily a bad thing, So I made the big Elemental Dragons 8. I kept the little ones, the original star levels. didn't care. I didn't want to change it. I should have made the 3 stars into 4 stars, so all the little babies would have all been 4 stars, because that's half of what 8 stars is 4. But anyway, I didn't feel like doing that. It was just the effects is what needed to be changed, and the dragons being, and the big dragons being 8 as opposed to 7, so that way you couldn't exceed into Big Eye and Dragossack. That way you do rank 8 exceeds instead. And there's a couple of rank 8 exceeds that are dragons, which fit the deck type. Since the deck is dragons, it makes sense that you exceed into dragons, like number 107, Tachyon Dragon, or Hieropolis the Sun Dragon. So that would make sense because they're dragons, they fit the type of the deck. So anyway, plus there's not that many, rank 8s per se that requires 2 that you would play anyway. So that minimizes how much spam you can do, but you can still play the, a really good deck. Alright, so I changed the effects so they require dragons only in order to summon. I took their pitch them and an attribute effect, like Blaster for example, he doesn't destroy a card anymore, so I took that effect out. I did that to all the elemental dragons so they don't have their pitch them and a monster of that attribute to get an effect out of them. So I took those effects out. I made it where you just banish dragons to summon them, and also that if they get banished, they can add a dragon monster of that attribute that they are. So Blaster obviously grabs a fire dragon. Same goes for all the other ones. Now the little ones, here's Burner for example, I gave them, since I took an ability away from the big elemental dragons, I gave another ability to the little dragons. So baby dragons have the effect that when they're banished, you can add a dragon of that attribute. So Burner will give you a fire dragon. So obviously you could, if you banish Blaster, unless you get Burner. You banish Burner unless you get Blaster. So that's the way it will work. You know what I mean? And of course, Burner still has the ability where you pitch it and a dragon, not a fire or dragon, just a dragon. Pitch him in the dragon type and special summon from the deck onto the field Blaster, Dragon, Ruler of Infernals. So it's pretty much the same way it was, except I added the ability where it gets removed from play. It can grab a monster, a dragon of its attribute. And I did that to all of them. And of course, download for all these cards are in the description. If you want to, download them, print them out, try them out. And if you want to leave some feedback, that'd be good too. I would like to hear what y'all have to say. Some feedback about if you think that this is the way they should have been. That would have made them a little bit more fair. And yeah, that's it.